In a quiet neighborhood just outside Dallas, on a street lined with oak trees and wide front lawns, lived a man named Robert Whitaker. Robert was 52 years old. He wasn't famous, he wasn't wealthy, he wasn't extraordinary in the world's eyes. But he was a father. And in his garage, beneath a thin layer of dust and years of silence, stood an old red bicycle. The paint had faded to a dull crimson. The tires were flat. The chain carried a soft coat of rust. But Robert never threw it away. Because that bicycle carried something far more valuable than metal and rubber. It carried memories. When Lily was 8 years old, that bicycle was the center of her world. Robert remembered the first day she rode it. The sun had been bright, the Texas air warm, the pavement wide and empty. "Don't let go, Dad." She had shouted, her small hands gripping the handlebars. "I won't," he promised, and he didn't. Not at first. He jogged behind her, one hand steady on the seat, the other hovering in case she wobbled. Her laughter filled the street. Then, quietly, he let go. She didn't notice at first. She kept pedaling, balance, free. When she realized she was riding on her own, she screamed with joy. That was the first time he understood something important. Loving someone sometimes means letting go, even when your hands want to hold on. Years passed the way they always do, quietly, without asking permission. Middle school, high school, college acceptance letters. Lily grew taller, more independent, more certain about her future. Robert grew quieter. He watched from the kitchen window as she packed for college in the city. Her room emptied, her posters came down. Her laughter moved into boxes. He helped load her car. "You'll do great," he told her. "I know, Dad," she said with a confident smile. She hugged him quickly. Then she drove away. The house felt larger that evening. Too large. At first, they spoke often. She called about classes. About roommates. About exams. "Dad, I'll call later." Sorry, group project. I've got plans tonight." Robert understood. At least he tried to. He didn't want to be the father who held her back. He didn't want to sound needy. So instead, he walked into the garage sometimes and looked at the old red bicycle. He pumped the tires once, oiled the chain. But he kept it ready. One October evening, dark clouds rolled across the Texas sky. Wind bent tree branches. Rain hit the windows in sharp bursts. Robert was sitting in his living room when his phone rang. It was Lily. He answered immediately. "Dad?" Her voice sounded smaller than usual. "I'm sorry to bother you." Robert was already grabbing his keys. "You're not bothering me. Stay where you are. I'm on my way." He didn't ask questions. He didn't complain. He drove. The storm had slowed everything. Traffic crawled. Tow trucks were delayed. Hazard lights blinked in long lines of stranded cars. Robert spotted Lily's vehicle on the shoulder. She stood beside it, rain soaking her jacket. For a moment, she looked 8 years old again. Not 19, not independent, not distant. Just his daughter. He pulled over. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded, shivering slightly. "They said it could be hours before a tow truck gets here." Robert looked down the highway. In the back of his truck was something wrapped carefully in a tarp. The old red bicycle. He had restored it quietly over the years. New tires, polished frame, fresh oil on the chain. He had never told Lily. He handed her a helmet. Her eyes widened. "You fixed it?" Robert smiled gently. "Some things are worth keeping ready." She stared at the bike for a moment. Rain fell harder. "The service station is about 2 miles down," he said. "Can't wait here all night." She hesitated. Then she nodded. The rain soaked them within minutes. Cars passed carefully. The road glistened under flashing lights. Robert rode slightly behind her, just like before, not holding the seat, but close enough. She wobbled once. He instinctively reached out. "You've got it," he said calmly. And she did. 2 miles in the rain felt longer than it sounded. But something unexpected happened during that ride. They talked not about classes, not about grades, not about schedules, but about memories. "Remember when I crashed into Mrs. Thompson's mailbox?" Lily laughed. Robert chuckled. You blamed the wind. You told her it was your fault. I figured the wind couldn't defend itself. They both laughed. The distance between them felt smaller with every pedal. When they reached the service station, warm light spilled onto the wet pavement. They parked the bicycle under the awning. Lily looked at her father differently. She noticed the gray in his hair, the lines around his eyes, the steady calm in his voice. He wasn't outdated. He wasn't left behind. He was steady, reliable, present. In a world that constantly changed, he was the one thing that didn't. And suddenly, she understood something she hadn't before. The garage wasn't holding an old bicycle. It was holding patience, love, readiness. Her car was repaired the next day. Life returned to its fast rhythm, but something had shifted. Lily called more often, not because she needed help, because she wanted to talk. Some weekends, she drove home. They had dinner together, watched old movies, sat on the porch at sunset. One Saturday morning, Lily asked, "Is the bike still rideable?" Robert smiled. Always. They rode through the neighborhood, past oak trees, past familiar sidewalks, past years that felt closer now. A few months later, Lily arrived home with something unexpected. In the back of her car was another bicycle, restored, bright red, shining. "For both of us," she said. They stood in the driveway, side by side. Two red bicycles, two generations. No distance. That evening, they rode together through the quiet Texas streets. Not because there was an emergency, not because there was a storm, but because they wanted to. The greatest success of a parent isn't holding on. It's being ready when they come back. No matter how far children travel, a father's love remains parked in the garage, quietly waiting, carefully maintained, ready when needed.